All right. This is from Shulchan Aruch Harav. It's a little bit musar, a daily musar for today about Talmud Torah. I know it sounds like a broken record, but I heard that the records are in style and they're making a comeback, so I'll say it again. He says on the Rambam, based on the Gemara, for a person who could not so-called cannot hold it any longer and does not find his heart settled to sit down and learn Torah, so marry a woman, get married. I mean, I should say marry a woman today, right? Get married, and then after you calm your tidal waves of whatever you have in you, sit down and learn betahara, learn in purity, without hirurim, without any kind of foreign thoughts into your head. You know, when you have an engine and you have what is so-called FOD, foreign objects in the engine, it causes the engine to fall down, the plane to fall down. So you can learn with foreign objects when you're trying to make a spiritual lift, as much as the engine creates thrust by taking air and using it. A jet engine takes air, sucks in the air through the turbine, and then it goes down and down. It creates the pressure, increases the pressure, goes to the combustion chambers. There is the fire, and then goes out to the back turbine and translate that process into thrust. That could not be done when you have FOD, when you have foreign objects in the engine. Why? If you have a little pebble, I mean, the fan of a, let's say, a turbojet, or is huge. It's big. Jet engine is big, and a little stone like this, one little stone like this, they will be sucked into the engine. Would not blow the engine up. It's just a teeny little stone. I mean, this big. What it would do, it would make a little dent at the blades, the first blade, or two second or row blades of the engine, of the fan of the engine that comes in, and those things change all the time. That, if this is the attack angle of the fan, if the air was supposed to flow straight on it, now it creates it creates a dent, and it disturbs the airflow into the engine. As a result of that, we have problems with the engine. The engine is not able to produce enough thrust based on what we demand of the engine, and as a result, what happens? The engine fails and the plane falls. In order to create spiritual thrust in your life, you have to do a daily inspection, a daily pre-flight. You have to check. First of all, there's no foreign objects around you. Before you start the engine, the mechanics go and they search the ground. They patrol the whole thing. They walk. They come in. They clean it up with like a street cleaner, and then they have a special vacuum cleaner that you can ride, like those like those lawnmowers that you can ride. So they have a vacuum cleaner like this they can ride, and then they do a visual scan of the area. So there's not even one little speck of pebble. Then they leave the intake of the engine closed. There are special caps that they put in, that they close it. Why? Because something can come in. So if you're not using it, you close it. The same thing to us. Imagine yourself. Now, my analogy is you make yourself into an engine. So when there's nothing is in use, close it. Why? As we said earlier, you once you became vulnerable for somebody's idea, that idea does not come from one ear, goes to the other ear. It comes and sits in your head, and it creates a core of condensation, and things start to evolve and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So if it's a good thing, the more you hear good and positive ideas, the more you will think positive. If it's negative, the same way. It will be more negative, you'll become a negative person. That's why I chose not to watch TV. I don't watch the news. Because they don't report to me anymore of what happens. They report their opinions through what happened. And I don't want their opinions, I want my opinion. God gave me a mind, a brain to think. I'm not those pins they used to cushion, that they used to put the needles in, you're just going to poke me and I'm going to sit. I'm not an acupuncture pad, If I want to be poked in, I'll go to an acupuncturist. It's not for my head. I don't want this to happen. So I don't watch it. I'm very selective on what goes into my head. So you have to do your DI pre-flight, the daily inspection before the flight. And then they remove it and they check it. Sometimes they even go inside the intake of the engine. You can go inside, they're big, to make sure there's nothing there. Every now and then they'll go in, a technician will go in and manually check the blades to make sure that there are no nicks. If there is a nick on one of this turbine, and if it's on a certain size, they would take, the plane does not fly. They take it out, they remove the engine, they fix it, they take it all apart, it would fly. Then that's what they do. We must learn Torah in purity. Limud Torah, learning Torah, when it's not in purity, it's like flying an engine that is going to crash, that doesn't have a proper airflow. It would stall. The engine would stall. That's why the plane has to keep a certain level all the time. Otherwise, if your speed and the angle that you add are not aligned, the plane would stall. If you go like this too much and you don't have enough speed, you simply fall down. The engine stalls, basically chokes, stalls. You would also stall if you don't have clear intake in you. You would spiritually crash. That's why they say you have to teach Torah to a person who is appropriate. Why? Not only what that you're not to teach, because of the damage that you're going to cause to him and he will cause to others. If a plane, God forbid, falls down and crashes, a lot of people could get killed. I don't know if you saw, like a few weeks ago, there was a 747 that took off, I think, from Afghanistan, and he went like this, and then he crashed. Why? They think that probably the heavy equipment, the tanks or the armed vehicle that was inside probably shifted. So upon takeoff the ship, everything went down. The plane was not able to fix itself down. It crushed. So therefore, internally, you need to be balanced. But if your mind is somewhere else besides learning, if you're not clear, if you're sitting down in Torah and all you're thinking about is, dating girls, whatever it is, it's not going to be good. You're going to stall, you're going to crash. As simple as that. So, after that, so you need to clear your mind with that thoughts. And after that, you should learn Torah Shebe'al Peh Kula. You have to learn everything. You have to learn Torah. Torah Shebe'al Peh, there is Mishnah, Gemara, Halacha, this whole thing. Ve'af sheyesh lo banim, even though if you have children, tzarich la'asok b'melacha lefanes ishto uvanav, and he can't learn Torah all day long. He needs to have parnasah for his wife, for his children, and so on and so forth. And you cannot learn Torah all day long, right? So learn halachot. Learn the halachot, and the reasons for halachot, why we do certain things, is the shortest way. And And if you do the whole thing, it will take you maybe 10 years. And it will be considered, like you learn all the time. Why? Because it's not up to you to finish. Even if it'll take you 10, whatever, just start, do it, be involved. But the reality is, if you do have the ability to sit down and learn, don't take rocks and put it into your jet intake. Life will have its own challenges. There is, right now you are free. You have nothing to worry about. So this is the time in which you should sit down and learn. Because once you have children, you have wives and children and so on and so forth, then the problem comes. Then you have bills to pay and you have things to worry about. And then your head is not going to be into learning. Because you're going to be obligated on their behalf. Therefore, you have to sit down and learn. And you have to learn and go on and try to do whatever you can, to go to the Shulchan Aruch, learn halachot. Nobody says you have to sit down. Yeah, it would be nice if you learn Gemara and you learn everything, but if you can't learn Gemara, sit down and learn halachot. Take the Shulchan Aruch, at least you'll know what to do. If you, the point is that you tell people, listen, sit down and learn halachot. You know what to do. You won't be ignorant. You know, somebody asks you a question. You know, you understand why you're doing things. That's the bottom line. You have to know. No, I want to sit down and learn Gemara. Yeah, Habibi, why do you need to learn Gemara now? You don't know how to keep Shabbat appropriately. You don't know how to keep Kashrut appropriately. You don't know how to keep Tarat HaMishpacha appropriately. Why do you need to learn Gemara? No, I need to do it. So therefore you're not learning because you really want to learn. You're learning for your ego. That's not learning, mister. That's a foreign object in your engine. The reality is a reality. But it's not that we're trying to change the reality. Reality is the reality. But we're trying to make the best with it. Or the best of it. And it says, and also, a person should try to do whatever he can to be kover lo et gdola letalmud Torah. Don't sit down and say, Rabbi, you know, I'm learning an hour a day. I'm learning an hour a day, it's enough. Et gdola means a chunk of your day dedicated to learn Torah. Like, at least half a day. Besides what you're going to learn at night. At night, instead of watching the Mets losing, the Jets about to get creamed, the Knicks always lose. You know, besides really it's your father's team. I mean, you have stocks in this team. You don't. So what difference does it make? So instead of getting aggravated and being a very loyal football team or whatever, I mean, football fan or whatever it is, right? You need to sit down and learn Torah at night. I mean, really, how many times you can watch Dances with Wolves? You already watched like 15 times. Sit down and learn at night. But make sure you sit down and learn them. So, but Rabbi, how am I supposed to do? Parnasah. Not a problem. What you need to do is try to do your best. You have to work. But you change the focal point of the day. We are not at this level, and that's why right here. It says, and that's of course besides doing the Chazarah. We are not at this level of early generations who learn Torah all day long and counted on the miracle. We are not at this level. If a person does it, he's fooling himself. He's arrogant. I'm better than a Tana. I'm better than a Tana. No, he's fooling himself. But ma, he says to you, here's something great. It says, Dorot Rishonim asu Toratam keva umelachtam arai. The whole focal point was around the Torah. My Torah is the core of the day. All right, I have 24 hours a day. So take your circle of the day, divide it into 24 sections. Okay? Take half of it, cross it off. Now you have 12 hours. Fit now whatever you can in the rest of it. Whatever you want, fit in the rest of it. You have 12 hours. First of all, you will be accomplishing more than most people accomplish in the day. Why? People don't see their day as something that is ended. They see their day and therefore they waste most of their days. If you know that you have limited amount of hours, you'll try to max out on you, not only on the activities, on your ability that you put into the day, into that activity. So Mimele, you're going to be more successful. That's A. So now that you know that you have only X amount of hours to sleep, you say, listen, I'm very disciplined, I have to go to sleep. I have to get my 6 hours of sleep, that's it. 6 hours, I'm going to sleep. I don't care, otherwise I can't function. Then it becomes a whole roller coaster. So you make sure you're going to sleep, you're going to be good. You have, let's say, X amount of hours you need to work. I need to make some money. Well, I need to do my best in that. All right, so I'll put it in, the best that I can into work. Let's say the minimum you have to work, let's say, is 8 hours. That's terrific. So you work for 8 hours. You have 2/3 of the day free. Don't tell me you don't have time. Don't tell me you don't have time. I mean, there are 24 hours in a day. 8 hours is a third, right? 2/3. 2/3 put into learning. So take 1/3 of that. Okay, yalla keva. 1/3 of the day, I'm learning. The other third of the day, you can sleep for 6 hours, and I don't know, do the rest 2 hours, whatever you want. Play roulette. I don't know whatever you want to do. You have the time to do so. But why is it that you don't accomplish anything? Because you never sit down and say, oh, this is my time. That's when I'm doing this. That's when I'm doing this. That's when I'm doing this. That's when I'm doing. You're wasting your time. And you don't have an unlimited amount of time. Your days are counted. Your hours are counted. The minutes are counted. And you will have to give account on the hours and minutes and seconds that you wasted. If I would tell you, substitute an hour per dollar. Hour per dollar. And all you're going to get is this X amount of dollars in your life. You are not going to make more money than that. That's all it is to you. There are ways to make extra, but that's not by wasting. It works different. You have to make good investments. Are you going to be so generous as wasting your money if you are only, let's say, for example, going to have $200,000 throughout your life? That's it. From, let's say, here, make a quick cheshbon. Come on. Quick cheshbon. Let's say a person has 50 years, from 20 to 70. 50 years. Right? Times 365, times 24. No?
$438,000.
$438,000. Good. All you're going to be able to make, I'll give you the age of 20 years old, $438,000. You're not going to be able to make a penny more. That's it, all you get. Now that would include your food, your clothing, your housing, your anything. I don't care what you do with it, how you spend it. Here, take it all, $400,000 yours. You know what, bakshish, I make it $440. Yalla, no, bechavod. You know what, $450, mazal, I like you. $450,000, that's all the money you make. Now I'm going to come to you and say to you, excuse me, can you give me $100 until we get out of here? You're crazy, $100, it's a lot of money. I'm going to give $100. No, $100, you have $450,000, give me $100. I'm not giving it to you. There's a way to make it more. There's a way to make it more. Keep from yourself for others. That's called proper investment. Learn Torah, kabed et aviv v'achet imecha, do the mitzvot, and so on and so forth. But if you look at it this way, $1 per hour, you don't have a lot. Is anyone here consider the hours? No. So let me make it worse for you. Take 365 times 50. How much is that?
80,050.
How much?
80,050.
80,050. 20,000. Let's round it out. 20,000. These are the days that you have between 20 to 70. 20,000 days. That's it. How many days have you wasted? If I would tell you all you have is $20,000 that you're going to make between 20 to 70, are you going to give me a cent? How many days have you wasted? And then you wonder why we are not successful. But if you make your focal point as Torah, say, Ribono Shalom Tishma, listen, a man has to eat, I am not at that level, I got to do what I got to do. But my focal point is to learn. So that part is on you. I need to learn. I have to learn. I want to learn. Not for rewards, not for anything. But while I'm working, while I'm learning, I cannot. So that's on you. I need to do what I need to do because I'm not at this level. So on that he says, Dorot Rishonim, the early generations, made Toratam Keva Melachtam Arai. The focal point of the day was the Torah. The permanent, the constant was the Torah. The day was around it, an addition. Ze v'ze nitkayem beyadam. They were successful in both. Dorot Acharonim, last generations, She'asu Toratam Arai. They switched. They made the Torah. One day they take Daf Yomi here. One day they listen to a lecture in a CD in the car. I hate those lectures in CDs. Why do I hate them? And I don't care about this rabbi or that rabbi. Let them all come to me. Spreading Torah, spreading Batich. I don't really care. Why? Because then people think, I learned Torah. You did not learn Torah. You listened to a lecture while you're driving. If I'm going to tell you, get your PhD or go to medical school, would you go to a doctor who got his medical degree by listening to a car while he's driving? I won't even let them repair my shoe. Even a shoemaker needs an apprentice to need to sit down and learn how to stitch it. From a CD you're going to learn? Divrei Elokim Chaim Umelech Olam? The words of a living God you're going to learn from a CD? That's not learning. That's entertainment. I would put, what's his name? Anatoly Barcholi, I call him this guy, you know, the blind tenor that you like. Huh? Yeah, that goes in the car. I listen to country music in the car. Torah, I don't learn in the car. I'm sorry. Now they can all line up and all complain to me, but I don't care. I'm telling you the truth. You want to do Torah Keva? You come here to learn. You sit down, you interact with each other, you break your head in Chavruta, you make it your focal point. Everything I do so I can come and learn. That's what you do. Go to work, that's fine. But you coming here to learn, this is your base. This is your engine. You cannot fly a jet engine in space. There's no air there. Dorot Achronim that came and grabbed a shiur here, a shiur there, Ze v'ze lo nitkayem beyadam. They were not successful, not in business, not in Torah. Why is that? Because many people try to do like Rabbi Ishmael, velo ala beyadam. Not everybody is at that level like Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that says, I'm learning and that's it. If I would say I'm at the level of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, I'm a fool. An arrogant fool. So I got to do what I got to do. It's my level. I'm not at that level. You know, what can I do? I'm not at this level. So therefore I'll do it. That's why a person needs to understand what's important in life. And you need to make your priorities out loud to yourself. What is important to you? That's what we did. I think it was yesterday we did it with Moshe. Right? If you're going to come and see what's important in your life, and you're going to go in order. If I'm going to tell you, if you have a Porsche, okay, we'll change it a little bit. But let's say, for example, you have a Porsche. I'm going to tell you, listen, I'm going to have your Porsche. Give it to me. I'm not giving it to you. It's my Porsche. How about I'll scratch your Porsche? I'll scratch your cornea. You're not scratching my Porsche. All right, I give you a choice here. You know, you like choices, not a problem. Okay, you have to give up one or two things. Your Porsche or your house? What do you mean? One or two things. Okay, take the Porsche. So you see the Porsche was not that important. Now I'm going to tell you, listen, I want your house. My house. You mean the mausoleum in which I invested every single moment of my existence into to make it into this thing with the two lions standing on top like this, with bricks, with stones that I brought from Mars, with a rover from Mars to build up. I'm going to give you my house. This is not a problem. Not a problem. This is not a problem. I give you a choice. You like choices? I'll give you a choice. Your house or your wife? Take the house. Actually, take my mother-in-law. How about mother? Okay, no. Take the house. It's not a question. How I'm going to tell you about this? Your life or your child's life? Of course, you're going to say, listen, take my life, but let my child live. In other words, when you're going to truthfully come to distinguish what is important in your life, all of a sudden you come to realize that whatever you thought is important in your life is not important. There are very few things that are really, really important in life. And they are very basic. If you thought that the most important thing was the fact that you could not go on vacation, you need to lose weight, Winnie the Pooh. If you think that the most important thing for you is to go on vacation, and you complain that you couldn't go on vacation, how about when the doctor tells you, my dear friend, sit down, my dear patient, I want to tell you something. Or the fact that you didn't get a raise. She says, I want to tell you something. She says, yes, doctor, what's the matter? I have some news for you. You have cancer. All of a sudden, your raise is important. All of a sudden, your vacation is important. And you're going to walk in the street and you're going to say, I don't understand how these people can go about their life. I'm here having cancer. And the people like nothing happened. I'm going to die and nobody cares. The world goes on. Because all of a sudden you realize you're not really important. You are not important. What you did is important. The way you live your life is important. And if you did not live your life, what did you come here for? What was the purpose of you coming for? Because what? You came to get a house? Okay, you told me it's not important. You came to have a car? You told me it's not important. What's important? All of a sudden, things change. All of a sudden, the doctor tells you, you have 6 months to live. You want to spend now every 6 months with your child. Excuse me, where were all the 6 years or 16 years that you had a child you never spent a moment with? Now you're going to tell me it's important for you to spend time with your child? Why didn't you do it beforehand? What happened to you? We don't distinguish and determine and decide what's important in our life. It is important to sit down with yourself honestly and to say, really, what's really important? How I'm going to, if your son, for example, is very important to you, how am I being a role model for my son? Am I learning? Am I telling him the truth? Am I living the way I'm preaching? And that's the question you need to ask yourself. And that's why you need to clear your plate from all the foreign objects that you have there. Clean the table, have you? And actually, don't even clean the table. Take the table and toss it. And then, ta'aroch lefanai shulchan, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you set the table for me. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged sorerai. You set the table for me with what? With my Torah. Because I desire your Torah greater than midvash tzufim. It's sweeter to me, greater than dew. This is saying what is important in life. So therefore I would encourage you all to take the time with yourself today and sit down and be brave and be honest and be kind to yourself. Determine what's important in your life truthfully. Make a schedule, if it's an hour or by a half hour. I had one time a Talmid, he came to me, he knew absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He did not know a thing. He just learned how to knew how to read Aleph Bet. That's it. He knew nothing. And he came to me and he said, I need to learn. How should I do it? He says, and don't give me the sweet version. I said, well, you came to the wrong place. If you want it, I'll give you the jalapeno version. As a matter of fact, habanero, how about that? I said, schedule your time for 15 minutes at a time. Every 15-minute slate. Because he wanted the real thing. I said, and give an account for every 15 minutes of your day. He's sitting today in Yerushalayim writing books. Because you don't have time to waste. And why he was willing to do that? Because he was on deathbed. And he recovered. And then he realized that whatever he was going after was not important. So be kind to yourself. Divide yourself a substantial chunk of your day to come here and learn. Be kind to others and encourage them to come here and learn. And after that, divide your day based on what is the most important thing to you. Don't tell me that your family, your wife, your children are important to you if you could not find the time of the day to talk to them or to spend time with them. I don't believe you. And I'm not going to be politically correct about it because we don't have time. Don't tell me it's important to you if you never saw it important enough to speak to them during the day. Count how many times a day you actually sat down with your wife without having The Voice on and American Idol worshiping on and your Facebook and her leg book and whatever you guys have there. Actually sit down and just talk like you used to talk when we just met. When was the last time you played ball with your son? When was the last time you held your daughter behind a bicycle, teach her how to ride a bike? Don't tell me you care about them. You care about yourself. For the most part, those people that we call important are no more than a decoration around us. They're artifacts. We are the most important thing. And we are not. Our actions are important. We're going to pass out of this world like this, puff, pff, fade into eternity. The only thing is going to stay behind us are our actions. And our actions could have effects, both negative or positive, for generations and generations to come. So do this act of kindness, of chesed with yourself, and do that. Prioritize your life, prioritize your day, after you distinguish a chunk of your day to learning, and b'zchut zeh, you'll be both successful in your learning, you'll see siman bracha in your learning, and you have siman bracha, you'll be successful in your business as well. Based on what the Gemara tells us, based on what the Shulchan Aruch tells us, based on what everybody tells us. Why are they able to tell us and we are not? Because they see the truth and we run away from it. So let's stop running away from it. Let's HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our life. And let's do what we need to do. And Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will grant us with Osher, Baracha, Hatzlacha, Torah, Parnasa. We shall have Shlom Bayit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will grant us with Nachat from our children. And we should be able to be called slaves of Hashem, servants of Hashem, from this time, miyad uledorot, from now and eternity. Amen. Amen.